Hi everybody and welcome back to the very first Fargo Force show of the 2017 calendar year. I'm your host Trevor Peterson. Pleased to be joined to start out the new year by head coach Cary Eades once again. Coach, 28 games into this season, 28 games in of a 60-game season. The Force are sitting at 16, 10, and 2, so just about to the halfway point. A much better spot than you guys were last year. You're sitting in 4th place. Last year at this time, right towards the bottom of the Western Conference, 16, 10, and 2. You got to be pretty pleased thus far this season.
Yeah, we definitely are, Trevor. You know, we're 12, 4, and 2. Our last 18 games really jumped up the standings after another slow start at 4 and 6. So playing some good hockey, been more consistent in the last couple months, putting some points in the bank. And you know, had we won that overtime game in Sioux Falls on Saturday night, we'd be in first place. So there's 4 teams within 2 points from 2nd to 5th. Things are really tight, and we've got to just keep putting points away.
What is the biggest difference from your first year last year to now this year? What stands out?
Probably depth of talent. You know, we feel that we've got a lot of players that can play in different situations. Our power play's been good. Our penalty kill's been leading the league to the last week. We gave up a couple. You know, our defense is stronger. So just overall depth and, you know, probably a year under our belt as far as understanding systems, understanding practices, everything that goes into having a new coach on board.
I was going to say, each guy that's come in for the Fargo Force show this year, we've asked them kind of, how has it been second year with Coach Eades? You just understand more. And from your standpoint, too, you understand more of the guys, and you've kind of been able to mold this team in your second year, get some of the guys in to play some of the systems in the style that you want to play more.
We hope so. You know, I mean, it's a familiarity both ways. Ourselves with the players and them with the coaching staff and the drills and the expectations and everything that goes into that. So, you know, we're a little bit step ahead, but having said that, there's 8 great teams in the Western Conference. It's going to be a dogfight to the playoffs, and we're just excited to be a little bit higher at this point and, you know, continuing to battle here as we move forward.
Overall, has this gone about what you hoped or expected? Have you been a little bit better than you maybe thought, about what you thought this team could do so far? Where do you say that? Where do you see that at?
I always have high expectations, you know. So, you know, there's some individuals on our team that have had really good first halves. There's some that have, you know, taken a little time to get adjusted. And then we have some young players that are just ready to burst, I think, burst on the scene and give us some additional scoring or some additional minutes in key areas. So we're continuing to improve, and every day is an opportunity. Coming off the Christmas break is a little bit like starting over, and we had some tough travel and all that to go. So getting the second half started with 5 out of 6 points last week was good.
All right, well, let's get you all caught up on how the Force finished up to that ending 2016 season. On Friday, December 16th, they hosted the Waterloo Blackhawks, second-place team in the Western Conference. And 40 seconds into this game, one of the newest members of the Force, Jacob Paganelli, gets the rebound goal, 1-0. What does he bring to the squad, Coach Paganelli?
A little bit of everything. You can see his scoring ability. He goes to the hard areas. He can also kill penalties. Played a little bit of power play when those guys were gone. So a nice addition to our team.
Matt Murray was tough in goal in this one. He stopped 20 of 21 shots. Nice save right there. Later on now in the first period, Shane McMahon wheels, and he finds Grant Meyer in front with a pretty play right there. 2-0 Force. Still now first period on the power play again after we take another look at Meyer's goal. The Force get another power play goal. Jack Adams with quick reflexes in front. Another look, Adams camped right in front. Coach, he's been doing this all season long, right? That's kind of his comfort area.
Yeah, that's his office, right in front of the net there. Big man, 6'5", great hands, and he's really done well for us. He's one of those guys that's been over-exceeding in our expectations in the first half. Now we expect him to continue that.
And the Force win that one 4-1 over Waterloo. So the next night, same 2 teams. Santa was in attendance in this one. Force down 1-0 in the second. Shane McMahon charges hard in the net, goes flying, ends up in the net, but not before Meyer finds the puck and puts it in as well. Take a look at the replay. Meyer with some nice reflexes right there, tied the game at 1. Later on in the second, Force on the power play. Nice puck movement leads to the great goal by Adams again, right in front. This is some nifty work. Watch him backhand, forehand, flips it in. 2-1 Force at that point. Later on, another power play. This time, it's Brian Hurley with the blast. 3-2 Force on top. We're tied at 3 now, late third period. Adams doing some dirty work behind the net, comes away with the puck and finds a cutting Michael Graham right there with the replay. Pretty goal. 4-3 there. However, Waterloo on the power play ties it up with just 30 seconds left on a play very similar to the last one we just saw, sends it into overtime, and then at the 6:28 mark in OT, Bailey Conger scores for Waterloo right there, and the Waterloo Blackhawks come away with the 5-4 overtime victory. They were 1 of 2 on the power play. As you said, power play's been great all year. Maybe slipped a little bit recently. We'll talk more about that a little bit later in the show. So after taking a break for Christmas, the Force back in action on Wednesday, December 28th at Cedar Rapids, the last place team in the Eastern Conference. 1-0 Force in the second. They get another power play goal. Adams to Cody Heiskanen, his first USHL goal there. 2-0 Force. Same period, just textbook 2-on-1 here. Odin Tufto to Cristiano Versic. 3-0 Force after 2, and they never look back. You guys win it 5-2. Also goals in this one from Graham and 2 from Hank Crone. He's now got 10 on the season. Ryan Bischel got the start in net, and once again comes up with a nice performance with 17 saves for the victory. Then on the weekend, Friday, December 30th, the Force hosted their rival Sioux Falls. Early on, Matt Murray comes up with the save here on the Stampede shot. Murray was tough in net. He's been solid all season long. We'll talk more about him a little bit later in the show. Later on, Sioux Falls with another nice opportunity, but again, Murray right there to slam the door. However, in the second period, Sioux Falls finally broke through. Jason O'Neill's going to score this one. That made it tied at 1 after 2 periods. However, Shane McMahon scored with just over a minute left in the game to give the Force the victory. 2-1 is the final there. In fact, McMahon had both goals in that game. He's now got 7 on the year. The next night, however, Sioux Falls got a little revenge though. On the 31st New Year's Eve game, Sioux Falls wins it 3-2 in overtime, despite Sioux Falls being outshot by 26-18 in that game. So as we take now a look at the updated USHL Western Conference standings, we see that not much has changed at the top. The first 2 teams, still Sioux City and Waterloo. Des Moines there, and the Force coming in that 4th and all-important spot with 34 points. But as you said, Coach, look at right in the middle there. 4 or 5 teams separated by just a couple points there. What do you see when you look at those stats as we're almost to the midway point of the season now?
Yeah, mayhem. It's going to be a race to the finish for sure. Exciting games. Every point's important. You know, we're disappointed to lose in Sioux Falls, but we did push it to overtime and got the important point. So 5 out of 6 points coming off the Christmas break was good for us.
And now let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Force, too. They're back at home this upcoming weekend versus the top team in the Western Conference, Sioux City, January 6th and 7th at SCHEELS Arena. You can get tickets at FargoForce.com there, as always. Then on the road for a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday the 13th at Sioux Falls, and then the 15th at Sioux Falls. In the middle there, you travel to Omaha for a January 14th game as well there. Let's talk about a few individual guys here that have had a good start to the season. Some guys that have really stood out. You mentioned Jack Adams. First in the USHL in points with 33, first in goals with 18, and also leads the league in power play goals as well. He's exceeded your expectations. Just been a great surprise so far.
Yeah, you know, a second-year player that really had kind of a rough adjustment to the USHL last year, came out of prep school from out east, and you know, like a lot of young players, have to learn how to play, he'll have to learn how to play in traffic, use his size, and score goals in the tough areas. You know, he was a little bit of a perimeter player last year, but really has worked to improve his game. One of the most improved players in the USHL, if not the most. And he's really had a great first half. He's really scored a lot of key goals for us, and really gives us a lot of chemistry there with his line mates Hank Crone and Blake Lazat. They've been very good.
You mentioned Lazat. Only 4 goals this year, but he leads the league with 22 assists as well. Is he a guy that is doing what you want to do, I mean, with the assist, or do you almost need a little bit? Are you looking for maybe now in the second half of the season to maybe score a few more times, or is he kind of your playmaker? It seems like he's obviously very good at that.
Well, Blake is a playmaker, number one, and so is Hank Crone. You know, Hank's got 10 goals already, but if you were to ask Blake, he'd be disappointed in his goal production. He's a guy that gets a lot of chances. He's just been a little snake bit. You know, I can think of a play in Sioux Falls where he had a wide open net and the defenseman reached back with his skate actually and blocked it. You know, so it's kind of the way it's been going for him. He's just got to continue to get in the right places and continue to get scoring chances. They'll start going in.
All right, let's talk about your goalie now. Matt Murray, first year with the Force. Looking at the numbers, if you go to the USHL's website, those numbers aren't overly impressive. He's kind of towards the bottom in some of the save percentage and goals against average, but you say that's very deceiving. Why?
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, there's some tremendous save percentages around the league, and you know, our goaltenders, at least you know, the ones that I've coached, we play a different style. People that can relate to basketball, we play a full court press almost all over the rink. So the shots that we are going to give up, we're going to give up some breakaways and some layups, and we need some great saves. So, you know, to have a great save percentage is not necessarily the true stat. It's about wins, it's about goals against average, it's about how many big saves you're making. to give us a chance to win each and every night, and our goaltenders and Matt Murray and Ryan Bishop have done that.
And you look at some of the numbers that you guys have held teams to as far as shots on goal too. Many times this season, the opposing team's not even getting 20 shots on goal. So that speaks exactly what you said right there. Next week, some big honors for a couple of your guys here. The USHL's top prospect game in Sioux Falls. You want to mention who's participating in that?
Yeah, we have Charlie Dvorny, Clayton Phillips, and Jack Adams, and that's a event that's picked by NHL scouts. So those are players that are projected to go in next June's NHL draft. I'm sure we have others that are going to be taken, but a real nice showcase for them. Be a little disruptive to our week of practice, but hey, sometimes when the coach and a few players are gone, other guys can have a little fun, so that'll be good. And
not the first honor that some of your players have had this year as well. A couple of guys just won a gold medal earlier in the season. We talked about that early in the season, but tell me about that as well.
Yeah, during the month of December there, last 2 weeks prior to Christmas, we were missing 4 players, and 3 of them were at one event, the World Junior A Challenge, and that was, again, Clayton Phillips with Hank Crone and Blake Lizotte, represented the USHL and the USA, and actually won the gold medal in that event. Real prestigious, good honor for them, and represented themselves and the Force family with style.
All right, so as we wrap up the show here this week, Coach, about to the halfway point, sum up this first half of the season and what you're really looking for here as we head into the second half of the season and hopefully a playoff berth for the Force.
Yeah, I'd give our team probably an overall grade B. Started off slow in the C range, but had steady improvements. Individually, collectively, we're a better hockey team. Again, our record 12-4-2 in our last 18 is indicative of that. So we can be one of the best teams in the USHL, but everybody else is improving, and we need just to keep focusing on week by week, getting better, putting points in the bank every weekend, and we've been better at home, 6-1-1 our last 8 games. So a lot of little things go into it. But it gets back to each individual being ready each night, because it takes 60 minutes to win in this league.
All right, and as you said, still very close, very tight in the middle of that, so a lot of games to go. Thanks for joining us this week. Best of luck the rest of the way, and thanks for kind of summing up the first half of the season for us.
Thanks for having me on, Trevor.
All right, that'll do it for this edition of the Fargo Force Show.